over a bench. Do try to keep up. By Jonathan Zapp, grade 11, John Adams High School. The entire play takes place on and around a bench, a park bench. It's late autumn. The leaves have lost their brilliant colors and have begun to fall. They cover the ground as reluctant homeowners reach grumbling for their rakes. We open on a single park bench surrounded by tall oak trees, with the sun breaking through the branches over the horizon as birds chirp. Squirrels make those weird little squeaking sounds, and a young flamingo suddenly feels very out of place. It is moments after dawn as Dale Wimbley, dressed in nothing but his favorite polka-dotted nightgown and a handsome burgundy stocking cap, strolls along the park path and sits down as he waits for his friend Lilia.
Good morning.
The bench says nothing, as is common for a park bench to do when addressed by a man wearing nothing but his pajamas on a Tuesday morning.
Perfect weather for a stroll. If I may be so bold as to say, it is strolling weather. Although what weather isn't good for a stroll? Barbados in the spring? Well, perhaps not. Although I've never been, and I don't plan on going. I'm simply not dressed for it. How I bore myself.
The bench is quite amused by Dale's shenanigans and begins to hum the tune to his favorite song, Sat On by the Benches.
It's really quite catchy.
Meanwhile, the flamingo has made his way over to the pond, where he is attempting to befriend two slightly confused pigeons named Billy and Marcia.
Oh, there's Lilia. Let's see what her excuse is this time, shall I?
Terribly sorry for being late. I was just finishing up class.
Class? On what exactly? I hope for your sake it's on timeliness.
Flying.
Flying.
Yes, I'm learning to fly.
To fly. What? Like a bird? In the sky?
I should hope so.
The flamingo overhears the conversation and takes a couple of backwards knee steps to get within earshot, as he happens to know a thing or two about flying.
Well, how else would I have gotten here? By boat? Don't be so foolish.
Where did you find the plane? Because I surely know you can't afford one.
No plane necessary. Just these.
Lilia is pointing to her arms, but because she cannot use her arms to point at her arms, she uses that funny neck thrust thing when we have our hands full of groceries and we need to point at a door for someone to open it.
You can't be serious.
Sounds like fun.
The lady's quite daft, if you ask me.
Seriously.
Who are you taking them from?
I know a particular individual.
Who?
By golly, ma'am, just spit it out. We must know of this particular individual.
A penguin named William.
That's fantastic. Now, how did the two of you meet? I mean, meet.
I bumped into him down at the market last weekend while I was shopping for groceries.
I envy you. All I ever meet are crazies trying to sell me insurance.
To quote the Holy Bible, roughly, read along if you like, Matthew 7, verse 3. To look at the splinter in your brother's eye, but not notice the rest of the whole bleeding forest in your own. Of course, it's roughly speaking, just roughly speaking.
To clarify, Lilia, running into a short man in a tuxedo named James, confused him for a penguin named William. And thus I present to you James, the world's greatest con man, or Lilia, the world's biggest dupe. I really can't decide.
But enough about me. Who are you? I mean, how are you?
You know, I've been thinking. If adding an ER to the end of a word means there's a greater amount of that thing, like faster, right? Or louder, or higher, then why do I want to put more butt on my toast during breakfast?
Okay.
Right, and you see, there's really only such a thing as an escalator and not any de-escalators. Which means that escalators that go down must either be very depressed or just bad at their jobs.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you know what else I've been thinking of? It must be really easy to tell when giraffes are nervous because of how long the gulps have to be.
I see.
And another thing, we share nearly 99% of the same DNA with chimpanzees, which means that just a few strands of DNA are separating me from throwing my feces at you, and to keep a chimp from worrying about a mortgage that he doesn't have.
Anything else?
And I think it's crazy that even though we are standing on a giant piece of rock and magma that is hurtling through space and spinning at 100,000 miles per hour through the void of space, no one ever gets dizzy.
You sure were full of thoughts. How does that feel?
Good. Well, it feels real good. I needed that. I had a lot on my mind.
Well, you do wear a lot of hats.
No, in my mind. I had a lot in my mind.
Although I'm sure it doesn't take much to fill whatever he's got in his head that he calls a mind.
Well, I must confess, I have not been thinking nearly as much as you have.
Oh, no, not much thinking. Coming from the person claiming to be taking flying lessons from a penguin. Don't sell yourself short, darling. I don't think you've been doing any thinking at all.
But my roommate did move out.
You had a roommate?
Yeah, I had a roommate for a while. She didn't talk very much, but would often make glaring
Sounds like you two were close.
Very. She was quite the copycat, but we had our fun. One day, Dale, I'm going to write a book.
Why?
Because people need to know how much fun life can be if they just stop worrying for a second.
Oh, I don't know. I might just be a little bit worried if I was being taught to fly by a flightless bird.
We need to stop worrying so much about things like our mortgages. And maybe we need to start throwing some feces. Now and again, just to shake things up.
I love the sentiment, but just real quick question. You of course mean throwing feces like metaphorically speaking, right? You're not seriously saying that you think happiness can be found if we start slinging our diapers around.
Hi, hello, me again. Just real quick, if you're uncomfortable by how long the two characters have been talking about their cuckoo, well, good. You're a sensible, civilized human being and member of society. Congratulations, you don't win anything.
I'm sorry, over here, in the back, see, I'm the flamingo, and I've missed the point. I mean, it's gone right over my head, it's just completely gone.
No, of course, I don't mean throw our actual human excrement, but remember how funny just the word poop was when you were younger?
Oh, sure, no, nothing was funnier. It was the perfect punchline for any scenario, whether at a party or a funeral.
Exactly. But now we're adults. We take ourselves too seriously. Being mature doesn't have to mean things like poo-poo can't be funny. We need to let go every once in a while because life can be a bore. And when you're not all that funny, and most people aren't, you're going to need someone else to make you laugh.
Well, boo-hoo, that's bloody brilliant.
The morning was warm. It was perfect for a stroll. Dale waited for Lilia, and after taking a couple minutes, both of them spontaneously combusted, and that was that. Neither one was ever missed, remembered, or forgotten, with the exception of the nearby flamingo, whose name was Sammy, and after seeing the two friends spontaneously combust, shed a tear and wiped it from his big flamingo snout. And although Bench couldn't say much, understandably, because he was a bench, he quietly, conveniently, and with a big, warm, benchy smile muttered,
The end.
Alcibiades by Tommy Golding, grade 11, Trinity School at Greenlawn. Prologue. Many times have I come along this road, though never alone, always with the buzz of early morning chatter and the clanking of the water jugs. They never want us to be alone, always giving us their chores and little errands down to the village with the other women to keep us busy. Left alone, we might grow bored or think and grow angry. Much safer to set us these tasks, to keep us in the house, in bed, and in line. The calluses on our hands, our sore feet, our screaming and laughing children, our tired and silent husbands, coming home, glowering silently through dinner, and taking their pleasure afterwards, remind us that to be born woman is to suffer and forget, through routine and silence, what it means to be human.
I have not slept well these past few nights. How can I with these strangers on the road? I've seen about 10, all with glinting silver swords. These men are dark, Greeks, of course.
Men on the road, bristling with armor, something to watch. One can never know with these Greeks, clever ship-bringers, with glistening marble cities, but ruthless, especially when betrayed.
My husband knows they are here. Nothing but trouble, that Alcibiades. He means our neighbor, of course. Alcibiades, that beautiful man, blonde locks at his age. He used to lead soldiers in Greece on the sea, in Ionia, but he lost something, a battle or a war or a city, and now lives out his years here, tilling his fields and writing long letters among the brutish Phrygian men and the watchful Phrygian women.
Scene 1.
Is this the very edge of the world I have come to? Some dusty brown huts by the sea in Phrygia, far from the dirty, crowded street where I was born in Athens. I never thought I would leave her as a boy, never dreamed of the seas I would sail, the cities I would see, the women I would meet, the battles I would win, the exiles I would endure. If I could call back the past, I never would have left, would have slept under the Acropolis my whole life. Perhaps my life could have simply happened and then stopped like so many others. But fate cannot unwind her webs. I am written into history. My life and my name have burned cities, ruined friendships, ended empires. Traitor, genius, tyrant, rascal they call me, but Athenian no more. I would give my name, my glory, my fame, just to walk among the olive groves once more.
My love, put down your pen. Why do you torture yourself with these pages of letters? You worry me, beloved. Who do you write to that pain you so?
Princes, satraps, kings, rich men, those powerful enough to help me and weak enough to need my help. Ever since that cursed day when the people turned against me, accused me of sacrilege, of hating the gods, called me back into their doomed invasion across the ship-torn waves to kill me, I have lived in fear for my life. I had to keep moving, away from my enemies, away from the destruction I left behind. I write these letters day and night to find safety for you and me, Brycey. To find our home.
Have I been fooled? Has the peace we found in this place been a mirage? A trick of memory? No one is coming for you, Alcibiades. Your home is here. We have found our safety.
There can be no safety while I lack power. My enemies are like the snarling hounds, Spartans, Persians, Athenians, all long to bring home my pelt. To right the wrongs I've done, which among these barbarians would mourn my death?
Listen to me, my love. You are not the general you once were. You will never be king. You will never win another battle. Your enemies have forgotten about you like the rest of the world. Stay here in Phrygia, where birds still sing their songs of home, and honey drips out of the comb. Burn these letters. Live to old age with one who loves you more than her own life. More than her old life. Enough to follow you here to the very edge of the world.
The old fear is hard to leave behind, and my past cannot be outrun. Even now, I can almost hear the solemn procession of my enemies, one by one, approaching to thrust their blades deep into my chest. I must face myself in command of some great force, or else fear the sudden tug of death at every moment. They have forgotten me. We shall see. I can still make their worlds shake.
Oh, love, the trickiest of gods that binds me to a man like this. You have nothing to go back to but death and wail.
Why do you seek to trap me, woman? What peace will you find in bringing me to my slaughter? Anywhere would be better than here.
You speak like a man, to wound those who care for you with your dull anger. How easily you can throw away the life that I have built for us here.
What home is there for a man in a place like this? There is no question that one of these Phrygian animals will take the Spartan coin or Persian bribes to slit my throat.
Then I have nothing. The memories I thought I treasured turn to water in my fingers and soak into the dust. You never loved the life we made here. You never loved me.
There may be a flower growing through the floor of the prison, but the criminal does not stay for its sake.
Seems where we walk, many like us have walked before. 1,000 years of women, watching, filling our jugs, seeing the men act out their stories of war, peace, and plotting, living their lives of fame, rage, and pride. Our voices join the ghostly choir of the stones, the trees, the hunted and slaughtered animals, all those that are or were, that see and understand, but do not speak.
Here, ladies, we have traveled enough for the morning. Rest your feet a while. Sit in the shade. But this time is slippery. These moments in between. We should not let it escape. There, up the road. Look, a woman in twisted robes, flying past her trailing tears. Who are you, girl? Why have you come alone?
Such a strange land that I know so little of. I cannot understand these women, silently staring, and their Phrygian tongue.
Huh? She must be the wife of Alcibiades, speaking the way she does.
Come home with us, girl. Walk a while with the women of the village. I do not know you, but the
road stretches out before us both, though it leads us to different ends. Your path to a home you love. My path to a man desperate to leave me behind. Only let me walk in silence and remember the days before I came to Phrygia.
Silence is the place of the Phrygian living. Our morning walk in the sun comes to an end. Return with us to your love while you still can. What harm in walking with this form? After all, we are heading the same way.
Scene 3.
Down from rocky Lacedaemon come we, across the armor-swallowing sea, to find and kill an Athenian crook of clever mind and youthful look. Though we may be in disguise, see the murder in our eyes. We'll catch him yet, I like our chances. We've heard how tethering his romance is.
We know his house and how to take it. These past 3 weeks, by day we've staked it. He has no clue that Sparta's found him. All the better when we surround him.
Then our city's that much safer from the villain who enslaved her. We'll have a story to tell in Greece, how we skimmed the golden boy's fleece.
A volley of flaming arrows descend on the house. Alcibiades comes out of the house, draws his sword, and is hit by arrows from all sides. He dies.
Whose house? Whose house? Where does the horrible smoke come from? Who among us has lost their home?
Mine. The home was mine.
Nothing but trouble, these Greeks. Look at them, slobbering brutes. They found their general. Get away from us, girl. Don't let them see us near you. Go, join your lover. We must watch by the road. The gods have taught us the trouble that comes from asking too many questions and saying too much.
We've got him, boys. Let's take his armor. There's his whore. Please don't harm her. She'll come home with us tonight. The plunder's ours. We've made things right.
You were right, my love, Alcibiades. You never could outrun who you were. Safety and home, our greatest desires, we could never find. We never will find. I go home, they tell me, back to Greece. But I know that exile with someone you love is much better than the silent madness of a woman at home.
End of play. Greg and Ghost by Riley Walker, grade 7, Montessori Academy at Edison Lakes. Greg is sitting in a math class, anticipating the upcoming semester 3 math test. He's extremely nervous. His knees are shaking, he can't hold his pencil steady, and he's having a cold sweat.
Good morning, class. Today we will be celebrating our semester 3 math knowledge. Please put away all study notes, sharpen your pencil, and let's begin.
Oh man, this is terrible. What am I going to do? I'm not ready. I know I should have studied more. I shouldn't have stayed up so late. Man, what am I going to do?
Okay, class, I will now pass out the semester 3 math test. Everything on this test will be over the assignments that we covered on the study guide I gave you all earlier this week. You will have 60 minutes to complete this test. There will be no talking. Once complete, please turn it over on your desk. Good luck, students. You're going to wish you could phone a friend on this one.
Okay, Greg, you got this. Turn it on. I've got to pass this test. Question 1, draw a right angle. Cool. First question, so easy. Question 2, 7 times 2. Great, another easy one. Maybe I'm more prepared for this test than I thought. Question 3. If a train is traveling at 35 kilometers an hour, and another train is traveling at 40 kilometers an hour, and you have 30 minutes to travel a state over for a business meeting, which plane should you take? Oh man, here we go, trouble ahead. I'll have to come back to this one. Question number 10, 3 times 2.
Greg looks to the clock and notices the hand suddenly move to land on the 6.
Whoa, how'd that happen?
Greg! 10 points off. No talking.
Man, the clock showed me the answer. Question 11, what is a round plane figure whose boundary consists of points equidistant from the center?
Greg looks over to see that a fish in the fish tank is holding up a picture that looks like a circle.
What? Another answer shows up? Must be my lucky day. Question 12. What is a plane figure with 3 straight sides and 3 angles?
Suddenly, a triangle-shaped cloud floats by the school window.
Wow, another answer appeared.
Hey, are you also seeing these math test answers appear?
You can see him too?
Yeah, I've been seeing the answers to the last few questions. Did you see the circle in the fish tank?
Yeah, totally. It was sick.
Remember, no talking. We have 30 minutes left. Try your best to answer all of the questions.
The ghost appears before Greg and Jason.
Hey guys, doing all right? Don't worry. I'm here to help. I'll reveal the test question answers throughout the classroom. I can read your thoughts, so just think of a question. I'll show you the answer.
Thank you, Mr. Ghost, for helping us.
Why are you helping us?
Well, I was in the neighborhood and I noticed that you 2 students needed some help, so here I am.
They continue to finish the test, with Mr. Ghost helping them find the answers to the problems that they have trouble on.
Huh? I feel so relieved to have that done and over with.
I feel the exact same way.
I'm glad you both feel that way. Just remember to study about a week before a test and not the night before. Well, I must go now. It's a fun class with you boys.
There's a loud stomping in the halls when 2 scientists appear at the door leading to the classroom. They look in.
I knew it!
If my calculations are correct,
There is definitely a ghost that needs to be captured here.
Oh no, it's the weird guys from the science class down the hall. They might think it's really weird that I passed the test. To be honest, so would I.
There's no reason to hide from us, Greg. Give the ghost over to us and we'll let you cheat on the next test. Come on, hand him over.
How do you even know that there is a ghost in this room? Can you even see him?
well,
Yeah, you can't even see him. He told us that only Greg and I can see him, so get out of our room!
That's all we needed. The ghost will be coming with us.
Why do you insist that he's even in here? Who would even tell you if a ghost was in here?
well, that person would be you, Jason.
Well, what would you even do with a ghost?
We plan to use him to help him figure out a serious problem we've encountered.
No, sorry, that sounds really boring. I'm not going to be coming along with you scientists.
You should be understanding that you don't have a choice here. Please, come with us now.
Can you please leave? You're disrupting the class.
We will not leave until we have found this ghost.
Fine. Have it your way.
She pulls the fire alarm and the kids rush out, pushing the scientists out of the classroom.
Well, I really must be going now. These last few minutes have been really fun, have they not?
Will we ever see you again, Mr. Ghost?
Well, I only stopped by because you didn't know the answers to these questions, so if you don't see me, it's because you've gotten even smarter.
End of play. So It Seems by Teresa Kotkamp, grade 11, Trinity School at Greenlawn. 3 judges sit at a high table. Dialectica has an empty but unbalanced scale before him. Simile has a gavel, and Censura has stacks of papers and binders. He takes a running, handwritten transcript as the trial continues. McKees stands in front of them.
Mr. Stephen McKees, you've been called before this panel to review the merit of your life. Do you know where you are?
Hell no.
Quite.
I do. I do believe that Mr. McKee's response was intended as a somewhat aggravated negative answer.
What?
She means that he doesn't know where he is.
Oh, Mr. McKees, is my co-counsel correct? Do you have no idea where you are?
That's about right, my guy.
Yes, thank you. Allow me to explain. You, sir, are dead.
As a doornail, I'm afraid.
As dead as Latin itself, God bless its soul.
Neat. So this is the afterlife?
Yes. Well,
Well, this is where you go after life, but it's not the afterlife. You might call this your judgment, I suppose.
So you guys are the judges. Are you God?
No. No, we're not God or gods. People tend to think otherwise quite frequently. It gets dreadfully tiring.
Okay, I'm following. I'm following. So who are you?
We are a tribunal dedicated to the judgment of the dead. We damn, we raise, we punish. We hold the power of your eternal fate in our glorious hands.
Ooh, impressive.
Quite.
Let's move on to the proceedings.
Yes. Mr. McKees, you are here to be graded, so to speak, evaluated. Your score will send you
Yeah,
to...
no, I heard the ominous we damn, we raise, we punish speech. It was very intimidating. Well done, pal.
Mr. McKees, your understanding of the proceedings seems to be perfectly sound. With that, I suggest we proceed. Dialectica.
Dialectica?
That is my name. Some of us have not forgotten our Latin roots, Stephen.
While we're on this subject, I am Simile. The man on my left here is Censura.
That's C-E-N-S-U-R-A.
No, thanks, pal. I'll make a note of that.
What? Well, thank you, my good sir.
Gentlemen, let's return to the matter at hand, yes? What shall we begin with, Dialectica?
We must first determine whether or not you, Mr. McKees, presented a danger to any individual.
Did you ever hurt anyone, Mr. McKees?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever hurt anyone, like, emotionally. Not on purpose, at least. But, like, why are you asking me? I thought you guys were going to look at my life or something.
We certainly have that option. We just prefer to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Well, pardon me, O omnipotent, not gods, but that doesn't make too much sense. What's the point in asking me when you can see the facts for yourself?
Dear God, have we been illogically judging humanity all these centuries?
Mr. McKees may have a point. If the afterlife can't be called efficient, of what use are we? Efficiency is key.
If it can't be called logical, what use are we?
Gentlemen, are we now willing to throw away centuries, millennia, nay, indeed, meganiums of tradition, meganiums of precedent?
Precedent is substantial.
Precisely. And what are we if not consistent? What is more logical than stability in judgment, than dependability in conduct? Anything less would be hypocritical.
Why? We cannot dare to call ourselves judges of humanity. If we are hypocrites, we must remain as reliable as justice itself. Yes, of course, precedent must guide us.
Yes, I suppose that consistency is key.
But you said that...
So, were you a danger to anyone? It doesn't appear that you were, Mr. McKee.
But did you follow the law?
Sure, for the most part.
What? The most part?
Yeah.
Oh, dear Mr. McKees, it seems you have troubled the beast.
Beast?
What laws have you broken?
Well, I've gone over the speed limit a few times. I once took somebody's baseball cap, but it had been lying around work for a few days and no one seemed to know whose it was. So, let's see, I've jaywalked, obviously.
Obviously? You've obviously jaywalked.
Yeah?
And do you have no explanation for yourself?
Do I need one? Jaywalks?
Everyone? Every last human being has jaywalked?
If they can walk, I'm sure they have. I'd say I'm willing to bet my life on it, but, well, I don't have much to bet at this point, huh?
I find this behavior most intolerable, Mr. McKees.
What? That he crossed the street? Darling, that's a silly thing to focus on.
But what about stealing the hat? That was obviously wrong.
Was anyone else using it?
No.
So, if Mr. McKees hadn't taken the hat, it would have gone to waste. It would have been nothing but another item to add to the dumps.
Yes, quite. I suppose one could even argue that Mr. McKees did the right thing in taking the hat. He made use of an otherwise useless thing, after all.
The fact remains that he stole something. He intentionally broke the law.
Censura, is breaking the law necessarily wrong? If one does it for just reasons, does that make one unjust or brave?
I agree, Dialectica. Martin Luther King Jr. broke an abundance of laws, but of course, we didn't hesitate to give him his reward.
To compare Dr. King to... Mr. McKees is not fighting for anything but his desire to have a hat that he does not own.
But precedent, dear.
We stick to precedent.
But the laws! There are rules! Dr. King broke unjust ones, that I can pardon him for if I must, but the protection of property is by no means an unjust law. I still find Mr. McKee's actions to be entirely objectionable.
Overruled.
Excuse me?
Censura, I have every right to overrule you.
I do beg your pardon.
For what reason? I am superior in every way. I rely on fact, you rely on law. Isn't that what you do with your little transcript? You see, if a man has been just by seeing if he has been unlawful, the two things are very different things, I assure you. Quite sloppy, sir.
Sloppy? Pretentious crumb.
Of all the childish, insubordinate...
Childish!
Dialectica tackles Censura. The two begin to fight.
You,
They're
sir,
very good at it.
are nothing more than an empty-brained orator.
You'd think that immortal judges would at least keep it passive-aggressive.
You fight like a toad.
You know what? I'm dreaming.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?
Yep. Oh, for sure. For sure.
You are not dreaming, Mr. McKees.
All of this is very real.
I highly doubt that.
Believe what you will, but reality stays the same. We can frame it however we like, but it doesn't change.
Do you like to frame reality, Simile?
What do you mean?
I mean, you seem to be able to make me look great by putting me in the same boat as MLK, an actual hero. But you and I both know I'm not all that incredible.
Oh?
Honestly, I don't know that you've said anything particularly true this whole time.
Well, Mr. McKees, it appears as if your trial must be postponed. Or I could decide your fate right now. Would you prefer that I decide now, on my own?
Can you do that? Doesn't seem like the final say only goes to you.
Doesn't it? Seem is a very useful and important word, Mr. McKees.
A pause. Mr. McKees looks to the table, where the unbalanced scale swings, the papers have become disorganized, and the gavel sits untouched in front of Simile's seat. He looks to the two judges, and back to Simile.
Seems. A word used to frame reality?
Precisely. You see, dialectica claims that he understands logic, but there are so many different kinds of logic, none of which lead anywhere conclusive. Censura relies on law. Laws change and are overruled, and it's the easiest thing in the world to manipulate. One who has broken the law is brave, and one who follows the law is submissive, or, if you like. An obedient citizen is the height of excellence, while the lawbreaker isn't worth our care.
Or so you can make it seem.
You're catching on. Do you see now how, because I control perception, I control them both? I control anyone I'd like.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
So, am I to decide your fate alone, Mr. McKees?
I am making a citizen's arrest. You have the right to speak to an attorney.
I am my own damn attorney, sir!
Something tells me that your condemnation of me wouldn't be that different from whatever decision the whole panel could reach together.
Quite right, dear. A very good choice.
End of play. The Shakespeare of the Cephalopods by Aidan Novick, grade 7, Montessori Academy at Edison Lakes. Scene 1, sailing in a boat in the midst of the vast southwestern Pacific Ocean.
A fine day for spotting octopi, isn't it?
Octopodes.
Mm-hmm. Ah, isn't that our sight up ahead?
Fumbles in his bag, removes the GPS, and checks it.
Yes, so it is.
Both dive underwater.
This is a perfect place to find octopuses. With all these dens and hiding places, let's go a bit further.
Octopodes. And farther.
Indeed, let's go.
Both continue to swim.
Oliver, I think that might be a coral reef up ahead. An octopus might live there.
Well, then let's explore.
Both swim to the coral reef.
This coral feels rather strange, as if it is moving. Do you feel that, Oliver?
William, I don't think this is coral at all, but rather...
Suddenly, the coral reef dissolves into thousands of small organisms as ink erupts from it like smoke from a volcano.
What on earth could this be?
Well, it seems as if the coral reef just turned into thousands of smaller organisms and shot a cloud of ink at us.
Let's pursue them with the ship.
Both ascend to the ship and follow the direction in which they had seen the coral reef go.
Oliver, right whales don't live in this area, do they?
No, why do you ask?
Look over there.
That really does look like a right whale. Except that they don't live here, and right whales don't swim like that.
Let's investigate it. But we'll have to make sure it doesn't shoot another cloud of ink at us. Maybe we could send an automated camera down there.
Great idea.
The automated camera is sent into the sea and returns with images.
This looks like some sort of herd of greater blue-ringed octopi.
Octopodes. Well, yes, but they're highly antisocial.
Well, as scientists, I guess we have to draw the only conclusion possible from the data, that these octopuses are social.
Octopodes. Yes, social octopodes. If just one of them can flood an entire aquarium, imagine what a society of them could do.
They probably have some sort of division of labor, like us, with some octopi being scientists, some engineers, some artists, some carpenters, maybe even an octopus playwright writing about us humans.
Scene 2. On the sea floor of the vast southwestern Pacific Ocean, enter Octavia Wright and Thomas Tebin, the Octopodes.
Good morning, Miss Wright. How do you do this fine day?
Very well, thank you.
How does your most recent play go? I have heard that it is to depict some primates.
Yes, Homo sapiens specifically.
And how goes it?
I'm afflicted with that perennial malady of all playwrights and authors, that of writer's block.
Unfortunately, I lack experience with these primates, and since I have no inkling of the nature or tendencies of these about which you wish to write.
Yes, and neither do I. And this lack is the source of all my troubles.
Of course, they're not particularly intelligent, so I doubt that it could be said that they have some sort of fundamental nature like us. Perhaps you could octopize them.
My wish is not to write a play about octopodes in the shapes of humans, but rather to write a play about humans as they are, which would create interesting story possibilities.
Your wish to create a play about other animals is quite natural, but even the bestowal of our nature upon humans will not rob the story of many possibilities inherent in this sort of enterprise. Besides possible differences in fundamental nature, there are differences in habitat, modes of locomotion, anatomy, etc. Your play would be quite interesting even without differences in fundamental nature.
However, differences in fundamental nature would improve my play even more, would they not?
Indeed they would, but your quest to incorporate human nature into your play should not be so critical that it hinders the creation of the entire play.
I put my best efforts into every play that I write. If I am able to incorporate primate nature into my play, and I am, I shall.
Madam, your resolve is admirable, but to me it appears that your quest is at the best difficult in the extreme, and at the worst impossible.
Sir, nothing, and I emphasize this, nothing is impossible. And I am resolved to learn about primate nature, and I shall.
I wish you luck in this enterprise. However, as a practical matter, how shall you learn about human nature?
About that I am not certain. Perhaps fortune shall smile upon me and I shall chance upon one of these primates, or someone else who has had personal experience with these.
I certainly hope so. It has been a pleasure conversing with you, Miss Wright.
The pleasure is mine, Mr. Tedden.
Scene 3. On the seafloor of the vast southwestern Pacific Ocean.
Miss Wright, has the joyous news reached your ears?
It has not.
A certain Wilhelmina child has successfully escaped from the clutches of those primates and returned to the colony.
Truly?
Certainly, the news is all over the colony.
How kind is fortune to me and my play?
What do you mean?
Have you forgotten? A few days ago, I despaired of unraveling the secrets of human nature, and now someone with personal experience with these primates has come to the colony. I can now overcome my writer's block.
Ah, congratulations.
Writing letter.
Dear Miss Child, I heartily congratulate you on your successful escape from the clutches of your primate captors. Your successful escape is testimony to your ingenuity and courage, which are the pride of this colony. Now I seek to author a play depicting primates as protagonists, though I lack personal experience with these and know not their true nature. Therefore, your personal knowledge of them would be of great assistance to my playwriting. And were we to collaborate on this play, you would receive 35% of the profits from the staging of this play. Yours cordially, Octavia P. Wright.
Octavia Wright sends a letter and receives a response.
Dear Mrs. Wright, I have received your letter of late proposing a collaboration between us on writing your proposed play on humans, and I agree to all of the terms stated in your letter.
I thank you very much for your generosity in granting such terms as these to me. You are invited to my den at the eastern edge of the abyss tomorrow at 1 p.m. Yours cordially, Wilhelmina J. Child.
Scene 4, on the sea floor of the vast southwestern Pacific Ocean.
Ah, good morning, Miss Wright. It is a great pleasure to meet you. Do please come inside and take a seat.
Thank you.
According to the letter that you sent me, you wish to hear some about my observations about these primates, especially about their possible fundamental nature, if it exists.
That is correct.
Them being rather unintelligent, I would not believe that one could discuss human nature were it not for their treatment of me.
Ah, how did they treat you?
After capturing me, they left me in a clear-walled cubic den, regularly feeding me with clams and providing me with toys, which I should say is quite the oddest phenomenon that I have ever experienced.
I suspect that they were attempting to increase your weight as preparation for consuming.
It would seem so, though I was in captivity for several months, and I would suppose that they would have consumed me by then.
Perhaps, then, they simply kept you in captivity for their own sadistic pleasure.
Perhaps. Though I noted that these primates often passed by my cubic den and appeared engaged in observing me. Perhaps they captured me in order to conduct these observations.
Perhaps, though even if not for the sheer pleasure in tormenting octopodes, their capture of you simply for observation certainly marks them as evil.
In addition to this, they often placed various obstacles which would deny me access to my ration of food, though I circumvented them. They observed me very closely during my circumvention of the obstacles and made no attempt to stop me.
Perhaps they were experimenting upon you, possibly attempting to test your ability to circumvent obstacles.
You make a very good point, Miss Wright. Though their performing this without my consent was quite ill-mannered and is hardly an excuse for capturing me. I do not believe that this significantly changes our conclusions about human nature.
I quite agree.
Looks at watch on one of her tentacles.
Ah, I suppose it is time for me to bid you farewell. I've greatly enjoyed speaking with you.
The pleasure is mine. Farewell.
A play about the nature of evil as embodied by primates. Perhaps I shall call it E.T., the evil of terrestrials.
End of play. Room by Mia Bauer, grade 8, Trinity School at Greenlawn. 2 wooden chairs sit center stage. Behind the chairs, there's a locked door. 2 clocks hang on the walls, one on each side. The clocks are frozen, but the ticking of a second hand can be heard the entire show. Boy walks on stage. He looks around, inspecting the room with disbelief. A pause. Then a girl stumbles into the room as if shoved. She takes a moment and sits down next to the boy with a hug.
So, this is it, huh?
This is it.
There's gotta be a bathroom, bedroom or something. What happens when we gotta go to the bathroom? Oh, that must be it.
She gets up and rattles the door handle. It doesn't open.
So no bathroom. Okay.
We won't need one.
How do you know that?
Well, if there isn't one, we're not going to need one. They wouldn't put us here without a bathroom if we're going to need it.
So that's how it goes then. No more basic human functions. So, we're gonna go the rest of eternity without ever having to pee? Well, excuse me for trying to make light of the situation. Oh, lighten up, will you? It's not that bad.
We died.
Don't talk to me like that.
Am I wrong?
You don't have to go out and say it. I mean, I still feel kind of alive. I'm talking. I can still think and talk and move.
So you didn't die?
Shut up. Okay, yes, I died, but so did you. So how did you?
How'd I die? I got hit by a car.
God, that's terrible.
Whatever. How'd you die?
Doesn't matter.
You asked me first.
It's fine. It was pneumonia. Do I know you?
I didn't think so.
I don't so either, so
Why am I stuck here with you?
yeah.
How should I know?
You knew earlier about the bathroom.
Lucky guess.
Was it a fluke then? I shouldn't be with you. There's no point. I don't even know you.
It's not a fluke. Don't play dumb.
What's dumb is me being stuck here with some stranger. What's the point of not knowing the person you're with? I should assume in the place you go when you die, that you get punished or rewarded, but you're neither of those things to me.
Maybe it's supposed to be neutral.
That doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Ugh. Ticking is giving me a headache.
I am not sure.
I don't talk. It makes it worse.
So am I just never supposed to speak again for the rest of eternity? Because the ticking isn't going to stop, and you're gonna have a headache for as long as it lasts. Forever! You know, the ticking's not coming from the clocks.
Of course it
The
is!
clocks are frozen, even the second hands.
The girl finally lifts her head out of her hands to squint at the clocks. Sure enough, the clocks are frozen in time.
Then that means the clocks.
Our clocks are frozen. Newsflash, time's over for us. But time's still going on Earth. That's the ticking.
Time's over for us.
How stupid are you? Yes, of course time's over for us dead people.
I'm not stupid.
Right.
Shut up! Stop treating me like a child. How old are you anyway?
I was 15.
So you're a whole year younger than me. And you've only been condescending to me since I got here.
I've said nothing but the truth.
Well, I don't want to hear the truth. Not right now. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be dead.
The ticking continues.
What do you like about life?
Not much.
Oh, don't. There must be something.
I liked music.
Music?
Yeah,
What kind of music?
like good music. I don't know, soft rock, Queen, early Beatles stuff, that kind of thing, you know, like...
I know that one.
Ask me why?
Yeah, I like the end.
The end, how'd it go?
The song you were just singing.
No, the end, I never heard it all the way through.
Oh. It kind of ends the same as the rest of the song. It fades out like bum bum bum.
It's nice, it works.
How haven't you listened to it all?
Well, one thing I guess I liked, I'd go to my room, close the door, you know, and then I would blast my music on full and it would just bounce off the walls. Surround sound, I had this huge playlist that went on for hours, and I would just sit back and listen and think, or not think, hours. But I don't know, halfway through a song it would get boring. Waiting it out's hard sometimes, so I'd skip it. You get more songs in that way.
But you don't get to hear the endings.
Yeah, well,
I guess I kind of like the Beatles.
kinda?
I mean, yeah. No, it's not that they're bad. No, like, I just don't know them super great. I only know, like, 2 songs.
Then you haven't lived.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I haven't. I mean, I'm an average teenager, I think. I do well in school, all A's and B's, you know. My town's okay, it's small, and I have friends. A lot of people hang out with me, like me, but not love. I'm in the middle, everywhere, average. Average grades, average home, average friendships, average. There's still so much I want to do that I gotta do. The illness just came so fast, and then there wasn't time. I should still be down there right now, living.
She stands, staring up at the frozen clock.
I should be alive right now. This isn't fair. I'm young. I didn't live. I need more time. Move. Move for me. Take away. Give me more time. Another chance. Let me live. Let me.
She crumbles to the ground in a heap of sobs.
It's no use, is it?
It's not gonna move.
I know. never going to move again.
She looks back up at the clock from the floor. It reads 1:19 p.m.
That's the time I died, isn't it? 1:19 p.m. Sounds about right. The day I died, I was in the hospital and my parents were there. I was 16. Dad was crying. Mom was talking to the doctor and I just lay there. There was a moment when I could barely open my mouth anymore. I was so sure the disease would go away, but at that moment I knew. I knew it wouldn't. And all I could do was look out the window into the town. It was fall and the leaves were orange and falling. I'm pretty sure there was a little instrumental music playing from the hospital speakers. I don't remember being scared. There was nothing I could do at that point. All I could do was watch the leaves fall. I can talk now, but what use? Here I am.
I didn't get hit by a car.
What?
I mean, I did, but it wasn't an accident. I jumped in front.
You threw your life away? Why?
Waiting out's hard sometimes.
You threw your life away. But then again, so did I, in a way. I mean, I didn't mean to die, but when I was alive, I didn't really live. I spent all my time being cautious, following every rule. I wasted my time, but it doesn't matter anymore. You can't change it.
You can't change it.
Suddenly, the door behind them creaks open.
Oh my God.
They run up to the door. Girl runs ahead and tries to walk out, but an invisible barrier stops her. She steps back, stunned. She turns around to look at the clocks, but only hers is there, still at 1:19 p.m. Boy's clock is gone.
I guess you're leaving first then.
I guess. I can stay if you want for company.
No.
He nods, turns back around and reaches his hand through the door. Nothing stops him. He begins to walk through.
Wait. Do you regret it?
My death?
No.
I mean,
No. Skipping the songs halfway through?
oh. No.
Girl nods. Boy turns around and walks through the door. The curtain falls as girl gazes up at her clock, listening to the eternal ticking. End of play. The Concierge by Matthew Vore, grade 8, Montessori Academy at Edison Lakes.
Hello, sir. Are you the concierge of this hotel?
Yes, sir.
Can you please tell me where the bathrooms are?
My name is Alex Carter, and I can tell you anything that you would like.
The bathroom!
Yes, just take a left at the check-in desk, and the bathrooms are on your right.
Alex just got his new job as a concierge at the Carlton Suite in Miami Beach, Florida. His job has been slow so far, but the summer begins tomorrow, and the hotel is going to be packed. The next day.
Hello, sir. Can you tell me a place to go with my family that's lots of fun and isn't too expensive?
Well, the waters are absolutely immaculate at this time of year and free of cost. On the downside, there will most likely be a lot of other people there. I recommend going early in the morning, or between 7 and 8. That's when the beach is least.
Okay, anything else you would recommend?
Yes, tomorrow, see Miami in a whole new way on an exhilarating sightseeing flight. Choose a departure time for your 60-minute tour and delight in the lovely aerial views as you glide by small plane over Miami Beach. You will learn about the history of the landmarks and have the most amazing view ever.
Okay, how much will that cost?
The average price is between $120 and $170.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll definitely check those things out.
The rest of the day was pretty basic. People came in, asked Alex if he could order a taxi for them, asked what was fun, what bars were nearby. Everything was fine and dandy until Alex met his most challenging person yet.
Oh, hello, ma'am. What may I assist you with today?
My sister Abigail wants to go and try different foods around town, but I want to learn about the history of the area.
Boy, do I have the perfect thing for you. Take an adventure through Little Havana with a group and tour guide. The group will stop at a locally owned restaurant that has fresh food daily. It is absolutely delicious. As you walk, take in Little Havana cultural highlights as well, visiting art studios, catching some Cuban rhythms, watching cigars being rolled, and learning about local spiritual beliefs and practices. All this and more when you go to the Little Havana Food and Walking Tour in Miami.
No, we can't do that. It would be too hard on my arthritis to walk that far.
Ah, that's okay. There is an alternate version of the same tour, but a double-decker bus that stops at the same location.
No, Abigail gets motion sickness on double-decker buses.
Well, that's okay too, because there is an alternate version of the tour on a tandem bike where a person drives. You don't get to stop at every place because the biker gets tired, but it's still a great experience.
Biking hurts my back, and Abigail never learned, so it scares her. You know what? I changed my mind. I want to learn about the animal life of the Everglades. Abigail likes animals as well, so I'm sure she will be up for it.
Ah, yes. Venture into the Everglades with a tour on the Everglades Airboat Safari. You'll get up close and personal with alligators, Everglade birds, and maybe even manatees. You'll have this adventure on a small group wildlife tour limited to 6 people. Your captain helps you spot alligators, birds, and snakes as you sail through the river of grass.
No, I can't do that. Airboats hurt my ears.
They provide soundproof headphones so your ears don't have to hear the loud sound of the fan.
Abigail doesn't like the feeling of headphones. She has very droopy earlobes that get caught in the headphones. It's a very uncomfortable experience.
Well, okay. Anything else you would like to do that wouldn't make either of you uncomfortable?
I guess I kind of want to go around town and near the beaches, but only if we're not walking, riding bikes, riding an airboat, or riding a bus.
Aha! I have the perfect thing for you. See South Beach on this Segway tour that allows you to see it more in less time than compared to walking. Zip down Collins Avenue and Ocean Drive with your tour guide, taking in the sights, sounds, and smells of Miami.
Do you really think an old lady like me could ride around on a Swagotron or whatever?
Ah, certainly! My grandma did the tour with her book club, and they had a wonderful time.
You know what? I'll try it. Thank you, young man.
After that whole escapade, Alex was worn out. He had been at work since 4 a.m. booking shuttles to the airport, and it was almost 8 p.m. Alex was ready for bed, and his brain couldn't handle another question about what type of fish was freshly caught today at the hotel restaurant. The next day, Alex woke up bright and early, 3:30 to be exact. He got to work at 4 and was bombarded with tired, grumpy people asking when the next shuttle was going to arrive.
Sir, the shuttle is set to arrive at 4:15. I know it is 4:16 now, and I don't know why they're not here, but I'm sure they will be here within the next
I
minute.
don't care, bro. You better pick up that phone with your skinny arms and dial some numbers and figure out when the bus is going to be here.
Okay, sir, I will. The bus will be here in 30 seconds.
God, finally, took him long enough. I mean, how hard is it to drive a bus?
Between 4:15 and 5, there were no shuttles, so Alex thought he could get a little shut-eye. But right after drifting off to sleep...
Bro, that was the wrong shuttle. My shuttle was supposed to be here at 5:15.
But, sir, you told me that you were going to Miami International Airport, correct?
Correct. Wait, did my aunt say International Airport, or did she say Miami Executive Airport?
Well, if it was the executive airport, you were correct, sir. The shuttle is at 5:15. But you told me it was at the international airport, so that's what I put down.
Whatever, man. I'm going back to bed.
Over the next month, Alex learned to deal with all of the different people that came through the hotel and began to understand his role as the concierge. He learned that it does not matter how old or how personal a guest request is. It is his job to help the guests. Alex started to love his job more and more.
Hello, sir. Are you enjoying your stay? My name is Alex, and I can help you with whatever you need.
It's okay, I guess, but it would be better if the lobster forks were sharper.
Okay, sir. I will talk to the restaurant and ask them to sharpen the forks. Anything else you need?
Also, the water pressure in room 467 is a little low.
Okay, sir. I will ask the maintenance man, Jim, to raise the pressure.
Okay, thanks. Also, can you call up the valet to tell them to bring my red Ferrari with a license plate that says, "I'm richer than," with no E, you.
That sounds like a very nice car, sir, but I don't need the description. Just the number the valet service gave you when you first checked in?
Whatever, man. The number was 78. Just get it here quick.
Yes, sir, I will get that right up. It'll be outside of door C.
Wait, man, where are the bathrooms?
As the last day of summer approached, Alex was getting ready to go back to college and see his friends. He can't wait to share all of his crazy stories from the hotel. Even though his summer was a bit unconventional, he learned to love his job. And maybe, just a little, he will miss all of the zany people he met this summer. End of play. It was never a choice. By Helena Drake, grade 11, Trinity School at Greenlawn. A court in Golden Age Athens. The defendant stands in the middle. Archon seated to the side. Jury and wife watch.
As you know, the defendant now faces a choice. At this point in the trial, he may choose to go into exile and disregard any verdict that this trial may have come to. If he chooses to go into exile, he will be entirely disenfranchised. His wealth and property will be confiscated. He will have no protection from the state. If he remains in Athens, anyone may kill him without penalty. The defendant may also choose to remain here and accept the verdict, be that guilty or not guilty. As I'm sure all of you are aware, the penalty for those found guilty is death. The choice is yours.
May I speak with my wife?
You may. There will be a short recess, after which the defendant will state his choice.
Jury leaves.
A short recess. They throw life and death itself into your hands and expect you to decide between them in a short recess.
How can they say those things? How can they lie after all those oaths? Accuse you without a trace of shame? Those statesmen are so renowned, they don't know how to act.
Can you blame them? If you had the ability to make anyone believe anything with the right turn of phrase, wouldn't you?
I certainly wouldn't. I don't see any point in it.
Yes, well, I suppose you wouldn't. You're far better than them.
Enough about me. I need you to listen. They made you sound bad. Those statesmen accused you. Bad enough so I'd have believed them without question if I didn't know you. And the jury doesn't. If you stay here, if you accept that verdict, you'll be convicted. It's certain.
It's not certain.
It may as well be. Do you really want to take that chance?
But it's not that simple.
It is simple. If you go into exile, you live. If you stay and you're convicted, you'll die. What is complicating this for you?
Because my enemies don't play fair. They grew tired of my writing against them, slandered us, and framed me for murder that I didn't commit. Do you really think they'll be satisfied with me getting away with my life?
They can't just kill you.
They can. Easily. If I'm found in Athens after I'm exiled, they can kill me without consequence. At that point, they'd be doing the state a favor.
So don't return to Athens.
I wouldn't, but it's not hard for them to find me, kill me, and say I was over state lines.
And they could do it too. They would. They're the type. But at least you'd have a chance. If you stay, you'll surely be condemned.
No, I have a chance if I stay, too.
What chance? All those men are against you, those statesmen. Speaking is their career, and you're a writer, not a speaker. How can you compete with that?
I can't. Perhaps the jury can. The jurymen for homicide courts are specially chosen from those who've judged other cases. They're experienced. They must know better than to fall for oratorical flourishes.
Experience only takes you so far. They're still human. If your own wife, who knows your innocence to be a fact, was merely convinced, what chance does the jury have? If they would just allow women to testify, I could confirm everything you said.
I know, but we've got to work with the circumstances we're given. What do you want me to do?
I want you to choose exile. We'll leave the country and never look back. They can't kill you if they can't find you.
You must think very little of me if you think I would endanger you like that. No. Whatever I pick, you must stay here.
You must think very little of me if you think I'll let you face exile alone.
I can't bring you with me. If it were only you, perhaps, but it's more than that. We have children to raise. What means will an exiled foreigner have to take care of a family? I'll have no money, And no property, nothing but the clothes on my back.
And what means will I have to take care of our family if you leave us?
Your father and I agreed before the trial that if anything happens to me, he will take you and our children in.
You spoke to my father behind my back.
Only because I knew you'd never agree.
You know I'd never see you again.
I know. But we can't think of that. We have children to think of. If I choose exile, you must stay here. Does that change your decision?
No. It's your best chance of staying alive.
They say only the guilty choose exile. If I stayed, the jury would be more inclined to believe I didn't commit the crime. Why would a guilty man risk accepting the verdict? And I could make another speech in my defense.
And they'll get another speech too. Don't you see you can't win?
I could.
You won't.
But consider this. I stay, and I'm found not guilty. Everything returns to how it was. They can slander me all they want, but they're smart enough to know they can't harm me after a major public ordeal like this. I don't have to go into exile. You don't have to move into your father's home. We keep our property. We keep our family.
That's hardly possible.
It is possible. See, if I choose exile, I lose you and the chance to watch our children grow up. If I accept the verdict, there's a chance I can keep that. Our life, our family. Is it right for us to sacrifice that?
And what if they find you guilty? You'll die as a criminal. Your children will grow up believing their father a murderer. Do you want that life for them? And your enemies, they'll have won. You can't give them that satisfaction.
I'm calling the jury back. The recess will end when they come in.
We'll need more time.
I apologize, but I cannot give you any more.
You'll have to make an exception. Don't you understand? This is a matter of life and death.
I know it well, but time makes no exceptions. I must call them back.
He's heartless.
The recess was generous, I suppose. But now our time is up. What do I choose?
Why are you asking me?
I know what I'd choose, but my life is on the line. I'm biased. I might not be thinking fairly about what's best for my children, and for you. I've had enough of unfairness. I want you to choose.
You're putting your life in my hands?
The jury enters again from Archon, and Archon takes his seat. Defendant and wife embrace, but she is ushered back to her seat, and he is brought to the center.
During the recess, you made a decision to either go into exile or accept the verdict of the trial. If you choose exile, the trial will end now. If you choose to accept the verdict, it will continue. What is your decision?
I did it. I committed the murder.
The court erupts into chaos. Archon shouts over them for order.
Enough! Enough of this. Her statements are not part of this trial. Women's testimony is not acceptable in this court, and she cannot testify to the matter at hand.
No. But he can.
You can testify as to what she said if the trial continues, but you must choose to accept the verdict.
I do.
Statesmen stand up and give their testimony silently in the background. Defendant and wife no longer take notice. They look at each other until it is time for the defendant to speak.
You may proceed.
My wife killed him. I saw her do it.
Lights go down. When they go up, only defendant and his wife are on stage.
Perjury is a grave offense. I've surely offended the gods.
You swore you didn't commit the murder. That's true.
Yes, but everything else I testified wasn't.
Surely the gods can forgive that. It wasn't wicked motive after all.
It sickens me that I was that convincing.
It had little to do with you. You were not guilty the second I said I did it. The jury was hooked. Experience only takes you so far. They're still human. They love a dramatic twist.
You should never have done that.
And I should have let you die instead. It doesn't matter what you choose or what the verdict said. But if someone else takes the blame, they can't hold any claim against you. Not after that trial.
You've sealed your own death.
I know. But without you, our family has no wealth, no property, no means to sustain ourselves besides relying on others. You're essential.
So is a mother.
But you said earlier that we've got to work with the circumstances we're given. And I think you're right. Our children will survive without me. But speaking practically, they can't without you.
It's time.
Make sure you tuck Phoebe in with her doll or she won't go to sleep. And tell Alex to stop scaring her with those silly stories. She won't sleep then either. And don't forget to tell them good night every night. Good night from me.
Wait, no, slow down. I won't remember. I don't understand why. Why would you choose to take my place?
It was my life or my family's. And I did what had to be done.
The escort separates her from defendant and steers her off the stage. She looks over her shoulder and meets the defendant's eyes.
It was never a choice.
End of play. Tech support by Maddie Lyons, grade 7, Montessori Academy at Edison Lakes. On December 4th, 2018, at 9 a.m., Mark Gardner walked into his job as a tech support agent at the head call center for computers and phones. Mark sits down at desk and puts on headset.
Hello, and thank you for calling Computer, Computers, and Phones Tech Support. My name is Mark, and I will be assisting you today. What do you need help with?
Hello, Mark. That's a nice name, Mark. You know, I have a grandson named Mark. Well, he technically isn't my grandson because my son is divorced and his wife took the kids to Oregon, but he was my grandson for 5 years.
That's nice. But do you have a problem with your computer?
Oh, yes, I do. See, about a week ago, I went to my friend Peggy Sue's house with my other friend Barbara. Do you know who Peggy Sue is?
I can't say that I do.
That's a shame. Anyway, me and Barbara were at Peggy's house, and the conversation turned to computers. Barbara was going on, like Barbara does, about how she doesn't understand how these darn things work and why everyone is so attached to them. And Peggy chimed in, saying that her 2 sons started working at this place called Bob Flaherty's Computers and Internet, and how they never stopped talking about all the different computers and how they work and such. Peggy said that she was proud of them, but darn, I wish I could understand what they were saying. Then we all had a good laugh about that. Then I suggested that we go down to their store and see what the fuss was about. We all got on our walking shoes to go down to Flaherty's store. On the way, I started thinking, you know, I think I've heard the name Flaherty before, but I couldn't put my finger exactly where. Do you know the name Flaherty, Mark?
No, I don't think I've heard that before.
Well, that's a shame. You know, now that I think about it, it sounds a bit Irish. Are you Irish, Mark?
No, I don't think I'm Irish.
I'm not either. Anyway, we walked 15 minutes to the computer store, only to find out that Peggy's sons aren't even working today. Barbara was a bit annoyed, considering she doesn't like to walk around much. But Peggy said, well, Barbara, you need to walk around more. You're getting a bit fat. And Barbara did not like that. I thought a fight was going to break loose. Well, as much of a fight as 2 little ladies can have. Thank you, Mom. I'm glad someone appreciates my sense of humor. My husband always says, honey, never become a comedian. Anyway, Barbara was about to fight Peggy when Mr. Bob Flaherty himself came over and asked us what we were looking for. And I said, oh, nothing. We just came over here to see Peggy's sons. And he said, unfortunately, they aren't here today, but I can help you with finding your perfect computer. And I said, well, we aren't currently looking for a computer, Mr. Flaherty, but I would be happy to look. Barbara shot me a look, but I just ignored her. She can be so surly sometimes. Mr. Flaherty then showed us all around the store and told us about all the different computers. And even though I wasn't really looking for a computer, he was such a good salesman, I was compelled to buy one. So he showed me a nice cheap one. I didn't like the huge logo. It took up most of the computer, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
They really can't.
They really can't. They really can't. Well, now we come to my computer problem. See, when I bought the computer, Mr. Flaherty told me I could send an electronic letter of sorts. And I thought, this is great! Now I can send letters, and my grandchildren know how to send one back. Except, when I tried to send one, the computer wouldn't take it.
All right, no, I can help you with that. Have you made an email address
What's
yet?
that?
And an email address. You need one to send an email.
Well, I don't need that. I need to send an electronic letter.
Oh, ma'am, email is short for electronic mail, or an electronic letter.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. You see, I have this letter all written out, and I need to know where I should put it. Are there special stamps? Do I need to type and print it instead of write it? Which slot do I put it in?
Ma'am, you don't need to do any of those things. You type one out and you send it using your email address.
So that sounds weird. But I think I'll do this later. It's time for dinner right now.
Well, okay. Have a nice dinner.
Oh, you too, Mark!
Well, that was a lot.
Headset starts ringing.
All right. Hello, and thank you for calling Computer Computers and Phones Tech Support. My name is Mark, and I will be assisting you today. What do you need help with?
Yeah, so I think I might have a broken cup holder.
The cup holder?
Yeah, like the cup holder.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't think any of our models have cup holders. Are you sure this is a computer you're talking about?
Oh yeah, it is. It has the huge logo.
Okay. All right. How do you normally access this cup holder?
Well, like usually I go into settings, go into disk, and then click eject, and then like cup holder just comes.
Disk eject?
Yeah, my buddy Steve told me about this.
Sir, that isn't a cup holder. It's a disk.
No, it isn't. My buddy Steve is never wrong.
Sir, you really can't put liquids anywhere near your computer.
It worked fine until now. So anyway, how can I get it fixed?
Well, I suppose you could go to one of our computer stores and get the disk tray replaced.
But I want a cup holder.
Sir, your computer doesn't have a cup holder, only a disk tray.
If it isn't a cup holder, then why does it work as a cup holder?
Because...
Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, I think I'll try the store. They probably know what I'm talking about.
Are you... Okay. Have a nice day. Wow.
Headset starts ringing.
All right. Third time's the charm. Hello, and thank you for calling Computer Computers Phone and Tech Support. My name is Mark, and I will be assisting you today. What do you need help with?
Yes, hello. I've been on hold for a half an hour now. This is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Anyway, I called to ask why you are charging me these obscene fees for using my phone. $100? That's ridiculous.
It is. I'm truly sorry. May I ask why you incurred the fees?
Why I incurred them? It said overage on my bill, but there isn't anything I could have overage on.
That doesn't sound right. I'll give it a check to see if what you could have gotten them from. Yeah, all right, ma'am. I think I may have found the problem. You bought a 4G LTE computer data plan for 5 gigabytes a month. This month you have used 15 gigabytes of data. We charge $10 for each overage.
What? What does that even mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. It means that you only have a set amount of internet every month. You use that and more. If you don't want this to happen next month, you could use Wi-Fi, or you could get a computer 4G LTE unlimited data plan.
What? What's Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi is access to the internet for cheaper, but you can only use it in the place that you put it.
That makes no sense.
I'm sorry, what doesn't make sense?
Everything. What is Wi-Fi? What is data? Why am I paying
I'm
$100?
sorry, ma'am, but I explained why you got the overage charges.
No, you didn't. You just spouted a bunch of nonsense.
Okay. Wi-Fi is access to the internet through a router, a machine you put in your home. Data is access to the internet through cell towers across America. With Wi-Fi, you can get a lot of internet, a lot cheaper, but only near your router. Data, you can only get a set amount of internet nearly everywhere you go.
That doesn't tell me why you're charging me $100.
But just explained it to you.
This is ridiculous. You're just spouting nonsense to confuse me into not
Well, I
paying.
can assure you that is not what I'm doing.
I demand to speak to your supervisor.
Okay, I'll forward you.
Just know you'll be hearing from him very soon.
All right.
The woman is forwarded.
Okay. It's 5 already. Wow.
End of play. Ties That Bind by Corin Chapman, grade 12. Trinity School at Greenlawn. A small coffee shop with a bored-looking teenager named Miles working the cash register. The door slams open, and Micah comes sprinting.
I'm here. I'm here.
You're late.
I know, I overslept.
You always oversleep.
As Miles checks out a customer's order, Micah takes over.
Thanks for the purchase. Have a great day. Have you been busy?
Yes. Yes, we have.
Oh, I really am sorry, Miles. I didn't mean to.
I know you didn't mean to, but you were. Again. Do you understand how frustrating it is when you're late every day?
6:37, please. Thank you. I know, man, and I'm sorry, but I can't help it that I fall asleep all the time, Miles. And-
Miles, can you take the cash register for a second? I need to talk to Micah here.
Sure.
Micah reluctantly follows his manager to the corner between the counter and the kitchen, while Miles continues to man the register. After a few moments, Micah returns.
What'd he say?
Well, today's my last shift here.
I'm sorry, man.
No, I deserved it. I should have known he wouldn't put up with my crap much longer.
Do you want to hang out after our shift?
Yeah, I think that I could use that.
Their shift ends. As they're walking out, a girl appears, sprinting down the street and catching Micah's eyes.
What's up with you?
What do you mean?
You're staring at her. Don't be a creep.
Micah pulls out his keys and unlocks the car, but just when he's about to get in, he sees something on the ground.
Look at this, Miles. It's that girl's phone.
How do you know?
The background photo is her. See? It's the same girl.
What kind of girl has herself as her own background? Weirdo. Let's go, man. I'm tired of standing here.
Miles gets into the car, but Micah hesitates. After a moment, he climbs into the driver's seat.
So what are you thinking? I wouldn't mind getting something to eat.
What do you do with a lost phone anyways?
I don't know, man. We can worry about it later. Or rather, you can worry about it later.
You want to try to find her?
What?
Do you want to try and find her? The girl!
No, I'm not going to spend all day looking for some girl that you think is
That has
cute.
nothing to do with it!
That's crap. It has everything to do with that.
I'm serious! This is about being a good person! It's only right to return lost property!
Uh-huh. And how are we supposed to find her anyway? She could be anywhere.
The phone buzzes, and Micah looks at it, reading the message.
Hey,
What?
you shouldn't look at someone's messages.
Oh, it's fine. How else am I going to find her?
It's not fine. You're invading that girl's privacy.
She's downtown. Some friends are waiting for her there.
Are you serious? Fine. Where exactly downtown?
Doesn't say. I guess we're just going to have to go exploring.
Micah starts the car.
Oh, by the way, her name is Nia. The text said so. So, cute name, right?
Shut up and drive.
Miles and Micah arrive downtown, but the area is barren. After 20 minutes of searching, Micah sits on the bench.
Is it me, or does it seem more dead down here than usual?
It's because more and more people are leaving this stupid town. Not too much longer until we can do the same.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna miss you, though.
What do you mean? Micah, we can stay in contact after we leave.
It's what everyone says when they go off to college. How many college kids do you know who stayed in contact after they left high school with their high school friends?
Yeah, that's because those people only knew each other in high school. We've been best friends forever, Micah. A little distance isn't going to change that.
You sure about that? You're really gonna remember me when you're off making it big and I'm back here living as a college dropout?
Don't say that. You haven't even started college yet. Who says you're going to be a dropout?
I am! We both know I'm just not cut out for it. Just remember your friend Micah every once in a while, okay?
Micah, you can't just... Never mind. So I take it you've given up on your search?
What?
Finding that girl, Mia?
Oh, right, her. I had forgotten.
Well, glad to hear you brought me out here for nothing.
I wouldn't say it was for nothing. It's kind of fun just running around downtown looking around. So I actually couldn't find her though. Wouldn't it have been cool? I'd get the cute girl's number after returning her long lost phone. We could have gone on a few dates. Would have been a pretty good story.
A group of girls walks behind the two boys, talking loudly.
Mia is such a whore. I can't believe she thinks she can act all innocent in front of us. And then she has the nerve to cry about it afterwards. It's her own fault for being such a slut. God, what a freak. I bet she's still crying at the fountain.
The girls continue to chatter about Nia as they walk by Miles and Micah.
Hey, do you think that they're talking about...
Hey! You!
Huh? Yeah, what do you want?
You shouldn't talk about people like that. You just shouldn't talk about people like that.
What do you know? Stay out of my business.
Micah, what was that about?
I didn't like the way they were talking about that girl, that's all.
You don't even know them or the girl they were talking about. For all you know, they could have been telling the truth.
No, she was just spreading rumors. Nothing but rumors.
Okay, fine. Maybe you're right. But why did you have to go out of your way to confront them? It doesn't concern us, man.
You're wrong. It does concern us. I'm going to the fountain. You heard the girls. They said Mia's over there.
God, what is your problem, man?
What do you mean?
You can't motivate yourself to do anything. You nearly flunk out of all your classes. You turn in all your college apps late. You sleep all the time, and you could never be bothered to come into work on time. You don't care about anything at all. But then this pretty girl comes around, and you're completely focused on her. You can't solve other people's problems for them, Micah, especially when you haven't solved your own problems at all.
You're wrong. It's because I haven't solved any of my own problems that I'm so good at solving other people's. I'll see you in a bit. Just go wait in the car.
Micah approaches the fountain, where Nia is sitting, wiping her face.
Hey, what's up?
Huh?
How are you doing? I'm Micah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Nia. Do you want something?
Yes.
Okay then. What is it?
I don't really know. To be honest, just really wanted to talk.
You just want to talk?
Yes.
So you just chose me? Seems a bit odd.
Yeah, well, I'm an odd person. Here, I found this on the sidewalk.
Oh, thank you so much. Wait, did you look at it?
A bit cute picture.
You shouldn't look at other people's stuff. It's an invasion of privacy.
Well, it's an invasion of privacy that got you your phone back, so.
That's fair. Well, I guess I should be on my way now.
You know, I've been thinking lately,
What?
if this means anything at all. I mean, like this meeting here. I mean, my friendships in general. I mean, I'm not explaining this very well. I'm going to college soon. And to be honest, I don't think I'll see most of my friends ever again. So I've been wondering if meeting people and getting to know them and befriending them, if it really means anything in the long run. I've been thinking, why should I make friends at all? Why should I get to know anyone? It'll just hurt when I leave them. But then I think about what that would mean. Never making friends again. Never experiencing anything new. That I just stop growing as a person. That I just remain static for the rest of my life. Maybe most importantly, it just sounds like it'd be boring. Look, what I'm trying to say is this: friendships, the ties that bind us, those things are important. They're experiences that allow us to evolve and grow as people. And no matter how fleeting those friendships are, no matter how long or how little they last, forming those relationships with new people is important to me. So I guess what I'm really asking is, can I have your number?
Add your number. I'll call you.
Nice. Sounds good to me.
End of play.
Playwrights to the stage. Playwrights to the stage.
Matthew Bohr, and I'm the concierge.
Riley Walker, and I did Wrecking Ghost.
My name is Maddie Lyons, and I did tech support. My name's Mia Bauer, and I wrote Room.
I'm Tommy Goulding, and I wrote Alcibiades.
I'm Teresa Kottkamp, and I wrote So It Seems. I'm Helena Drake, and I wrote It Was Never a Choice.
I'm Corin Chapman, and I wrote Ties That Bind.
I'm gonna vamp while they go get some stuff that we have for you. Guys, thank you for being part of this incredible process. It's my third year reading, in case you couldn't tell in that last one. It's meant a lot to me, and it's been a pleasure to get to read them. And as a thank you for being part of this incredible process, we wanted to give you a little something to welcome you to the Notre Dame family, and the Notre Dame film, television, and theater family. It's a shirt for those of you who haven't done it before, and some other fun stuff for the people who have done it before. And I showed you an example, but my vamping isn't working. Start crying again. So yeah, we're gonna give these out now. Wait, no, stay. We're gonna take a picture with the incredible Playwrights.